I'm Shanley Crouse. I'm speaking for harsher punishment for bullies, and I appreciate the opportunity to be representing the affirmative side. Bullying has become a serious problem in the U.S., with over 10% of the population being victims. There should be harsher punishment to keep the repeated offenses from happening. Increasing the punishment level on bullies would require full cooperation from the school boards, legal systems, counselors, and family of the victims and the bullies. This movement will also need support from the students of the school by taking a pledge to speak out against bullying. Bullying has a negative effect on everyone at one time. More than one person can be affected. It affects the victim, the bully, and the people who are involved or witnesses. Each of these factors has a negative outcome on each party involved, especially the negative effects on the victim that can turn fatal when bullying is not handled in earlier stages. This forces the victims to feel alone, worthless, and when they're not listened to, their accusations are not taken seriously. Psychologists have recently proven that the effects of bullying can carry over into adulthood. Bullying is a repeated aggressive behavior where one person or group is in a position of power to deliberately intimidate, abuse, or coerce an individual with the interaction to hurt the person physically or mentally. Instead of this type of behavior decreasing, bullies become a full epidemic. The number of students affected by bullying increases each year. Physical bullying is declining, and new forms are showing up each year. 77% of all students have been verbally abused, and of these 77, 14 have been negatively affected. 80% of these people have been bullied online, and 35 have been seriously threatened. Those who are bullied are 14.5 times more likely to develop mental disease as adults, and 4 times likely to have depression throughout their lifetime. Studies have shown that effects of bullying have long-term effect. At least 10% of bullying cases are repeat offenders. Knowing the signs of bullying for both victims and the bullies is extremely important. Realizing there is a problem is the first step. Signs your child is a bully. Views violence as a positive resolution, shows aggression to adults and children, needs to dominate others and control most situations. They're easily frustrated, refuses to help stop bullying, and they show no remorse to bully victims. Finding out your child is a bully victim is actually harder than finding out your child is a bully. If your child is being bullied, they are most likely becoming withdrawn, fear of going to school, they increase signs of depression, they decline in school performance. Speaking of another child with fear, decline in how the kid sees themselves, and signs of physical alterations. Verbal and emotional abuse is harder to detect than physical. Here's the problem. Over 85% of these bully cases are overlooked by schools. Quit creating excuses. If you think your child is a bully/victim, talk to them. They're not just being kids, and it's not just a joke. The only way to stop bullying is to show the kids what they're doing is wrong, and just a slap on the wrist is not going to work anymore.
What is the limit to what a bully can do to become punishable to law enforcement? What kind of life do bullies have at home? How do we know that the bully's parents are punishing them enough, or if they are teaching them to do right? How do we know that counseling will actually help them, or harsh punishments will help them? How do we force children to become punishable to law? I'm Angel Harrison, speaking against harsh punishments for bullies and against punishing them as criminals. I am negative constructive, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Most everyone agrees that bullying should come to an end, but bullies should not be punished as criminals. What they need is to be referred to psychological assistance. Bullies whose victims result in suicide are often thought of somewhat of a murderer. Most reasons why children result in bullying someone is because they have insecurities of their own or have issues at home. Bullies should be helped by their authority figures. Bullies seek out victims who are weaker than themselves, but when faced by someone stronger, they cannot deny the help. Bullies have been known to be abused themselves. If a teacher or authority figure sees a child bullied, they should talk to both the victim and the bully's parents to see how their life would be at home. Bullies often attempt suicide as well. It is very important that authority figures do not harshly punish or guilt a bully, because that could push them closer to harming themselves or others. It is important that the bullies should stop what they're doing, but the punishment should be limited for their own safety. Bullies need counseling or psychological help. Bullies need to know that they have someone to talk to that will not judge them. I intend to prove that children who result in bullying need psychological assistance rather than harsh punishments, because after the help, they will not only never bully again, but they will be happier and hopefully apologize to those victims they hurt. Bullies whose victims result in suicide are full of guilt. They need to find someone to help them with the situation. In one case, Tyler Gregory, a former bully, found that what he was doing is wrong and not only apologized to the girl he bullied, but became a spokesperson for rallies preventing bullying because his mom helped him and caught him in time to prevent him from bullying again. Cyberbullying is a new way for bullies to say crude things to someone without the guilt of seeing the victims face to face. One way for this kind of situation to be helped is for parents to see what their children are doing online or have the victims delete their online profiles. Bullies should be punished by parents or school administrators. If someone reports a student bullying to a parent or administrator, they can figure out the punishment and make sure that they find out what led the student into bullying. Bullies need to come to the realization that what they're doing is wrong. Rare times do they not realize what they're doing. At rare times, they do not realize what they're doing and that they're actually hurting someone. Children are peer pressured into bullying others. It is not rare that the only reason behind bullying is to impress a crowd or a certain individual to gain their satisfaction. These cases are very difficult to control. Children bully to seek power over others. Psychologists say that this involves human nature, that people want superior power over others. A 14-year-old boy hung himself from being bullied. He told people he was a homosexual, and people left crude voicemails, and the bullying became so bad that teachers would specifically watch him in the hallways to see if anyone was harassing him. This brought up a large debate on whether a specific student should be punishable by law. Jenny Chambers, the victim's mother, said that she didn't want anyone going to jail for KJ's death. Quote, I just didn't want somebody else's family to suffer, end quote. She also believes that bullies need to seek counseling. 4 students were punished previous to the suicide, and after the suicide, they were often prosecuting themselves. Apparently, after bullying, you become bullied yourself. Chambers also believes that the student's bullying is a result of their home life. Quote, a lot of people don't understand. These kids learned it from home, end quote. Bullies are people too, and need help so that they can become better people. Bullies need help recovering for what they did in the past. Punishment should be limited, and counseling should be more important. Harsh punishments may cause bullies to act even worse, whereas psychological help may better prevent them from bullying again.
Thank you, Angel. But does bullying really affect the child's psychological and developmental issues and create decreasing in their academic behavior? Or are they just overreacting to the situation? Is the bullying epidemic increasing or decreasing? Do you think that this has anything to do with the lack of discipline given to bullies? Don't you think that the victims of these horrible crimes should receive justice? Compared to the damage that these bullies have caused to other people, shouldn't they have to pay for what they've done? Do you think that bullying is a victimless crime? Would you ever consider bullying to be a crime? When is the right time to punish a bully? Recently, the answer has been after the victim cannot even be helped. A 12-year-old girl killed herself after being repeatedly bullied online by a group of girls at her school. Even after this, girls that had been the bully posted online, I'm not sad that she's dead. There has to be a way to prevent this from happening. Cyberbullying is the most popular and easiest way to bully people. So easy after it's done on a cell phone and often at schools in a pocket. Most schools don't take action towards this type of bullying because they feel that it's not important because it doesn't happen on campus. But not recognizing that this bullying is happening in the schools and all around them, they are giving these bullies the idea that what they are doing is not wrong. Bullies can adapt to these resources, and school systems should do the same. Bullies can be punished by suspension, expulsion, possible civil crimes, criminal penalties, and extreme cases, jail time. Due to these punishments, have they been really enforced? In most cases, these bullies have not been punished until after serious mental and developmental, physical issues have harmed the victim.
Threatening someone to kill themselves is not as severe as actually killing someone, so it should not be a crime. But they need some type of punishment by a parent or school administrator. If a child threatens to kill someone else, then that should be reported to law enforcement. If a child actually physically harms another child to a certain point, in that case, there could be some law enforcement. It just depends how harsh the child hurt them. Children who seek out others often regret what they did. In no way is bullying a good thing, but bullying victims often become tougher, and they learn how to stand up for what they believe in. Children who result in bullying have anger management issues, so that issue needs to be resolved. Students need to be taught young the effects of bullying on both sides, the bully and the victim. Schools and families need to make sure that their children know that they have support and that they can help them. If a student sees someone being bullied, they should need to report it to a teacher and make sure that they help the victim and the bully to prevent other cases.
Approximately 160,000 students stay home from school each day because of the fear of being bullied. That's over 1 million hours of learning lost each day due to bullying. And approximately 4,400 lives are lost each year due to adolescent suicides directly linked to bullying. Bullying is now directly linked to dropout rates in schools. There are ways to fix these problems. Schools need to look into creating group sessions for bully victims, and schools should create a higher zero tolerance policy. By what you're saying, you make bullies sound like the victim. But it shouldn't be fair to make these kids suffer before bullies figure out what they're doing is wrong. One way to prevent bullying is to make sure that the bully knows the administration is not a joke. By cracking down the punishments that schools and the state hand out to bullies, this will directly lead to a better school environment and a happier student body. Thank you.
Thank you.